So yeah, today we're working on this one real quick. I've got a little problem with my front wheel there. I'll show you guys what that is just now. So I guess now that the GoPro is charged, finally, we can get into this video. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Now for today's video I thought I'm going to do something a bit, and it's a question I've been asked quite a couple of times. Can you really wash your bike too much? Can it break by just washing it? And I was always one of those guys, a clean bike is a happy bike. But there's a few things that I neglect, and I think that's a few things that you guys can neglect as well. Now before we get into that, remember to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on anything else we do. If you're new to the channel, welcome. So today I'm going to work on my Specialized Epic. Now my bike's always super clean. You can ask all my friends, you can ask anyone that knows me, my bikes are always super clean. Now the problem with that is you need to wash your bike and then you need to take it for a spin around the block, or maybe just around 2 blocks, just to get the bearings and all the moist out of them and to get your bearings dry. Now the problem that we've got here is my bike's being washed after every ride and I clean it as much as possible, and then this happened. Alright, so what I usually do is, my bike, like I said, is super clean, and how this happened, you can basically see that the bearings, they are shot. Now I've removed my wheel and then I was actually playing around with these spacers, and I made the mistake to think that my wheel and the bearings are still fine, because I push my finger there, I turn it and it feels good. But then I pushed in my pinky and I can feel that the spacer on the inside is completely stuck. So that's the reason I'm thinking that the bearings are the problem. So I'm going to remove these caps and then I'm going to show you guys what the bearings are that's inside here, and we'll see on replacing them, and I'll show you guys how to do that. Now I've made videos on replacing bearings, and I don't think I'm going to do that in this video to show you guys exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to show you guys a few things that you can look at to make sure that it's not just the spacers that's moving around, and to make sure that it's the bearings. Now there's two things we can do. We can either replace these bearings or we can service them. Now I'm going to tell you guys how you can service them. I'm going to replace them because I've got a few of them, and but you can service them, and I'll show you guys how to do that thing. Alright, so we took off the two little caps at the end. I'm going to call this dust caps or spacers. These are for the boost hubs. I'll remove those real quick. And you can see it's clean inside there. You don't see any rust. Well, there maybe is a little bit of rust there on the side, but further it looks super clean. Now if you put your finger in and you try to turn them, they are shot. Those bearings I think are shot, but I'm going to try to service them. I'm going to show that to you guys. Unfortunately I've got only one NSK bearing, so I'm going to put this one in there, and that's just the extra one that I've got. And then we'll see if the wheel's better. It should be better. I hope there's nothing else wrong except for the bearings that's shot. So let me remove those real quick, and then I'll show you guys how to service those, and maybe see if you can just prolong the rideability of those bearings for a little bit. The one thing that you guys must remember, if a bearing, I'm going to call it, seized the first time, and you can get it to work again, yes, it'll work for a little bit, but then there's a very short lifespan of that bearing, and I'd recommend you guys start looking for new bearings, or if you've got new bearings, rather put those in. You can use them, but like I said, it's a short lifespan that they've got now. So I'm gonna service those, and I'm gonna show you guys that they do run again, and they are smooth kind of, and it's actually quite a cool way that I service them. But in my best recommendation for you guys, rather replace them. If you don't have bearings, or you're still waiting for new bearings to come and you need to ride, we can service them and then ride them, but replace them as soon as possible. So to remove that, I'm going to do a hyperlapse. I'm going to remove those. I'm going to put in the new bearings, because you guys know I do that already, and then I'll show you guys how to service those real quick. Alright, so the 2 new bearings are in. It's running smooth again. I'm super happy with that, and if it turns back it means those bearings are perfect. You guys can check out on Instagram. I'm doing this. This is a new please like it signal or sign. So if you guys see this, hit that thumbs up button. Alright, now if you can go into your dad's garage, or if you are the dad, then you've got a garage with maybe a little screwdriver like this. I'm going to get some light onto this one. Now I've taken, this is a super old little piece of screwdriver. It's been hit, it's been broken, it's been done almost anything to. So I've taken it, I've sharpened the point quite nicely. Now if you can do that, or you've got something that's quite sharp, grab that, get yourself some, well, if you've got some Vaseline, it's not going to be the best thing, but you can grab that. I'm going to use this red rubber grease, or if you've got a wheel bearing grease, that can work as well. You get yourself a nice product like that, the multi, or a degreaser, or something that can just remove all the nonsense inside of this bearing that we're going to open just now. I've got this little rust off from Worth that I'm going to use as well. So if you've got something that can remove the grease, remove the bit of rust. Now the one thing that I don't have here today, unfortunately, is a heat gun. Now if you've got a heat gun, grab that, or maybe your mum's hairdryer, or your sister's, or whoever you're going to use. Get a hairdryer. Make sure it can go nice and warm, and we're going to use that just now, and let's get to servicing these bearings real quick. Alrighty, now I can see the image on a small little camera of mine. It's flickering again, so we've got a rainy day. I've put on the lights again. You guys know the rest of the story. Alright, now the one bearing, I can feel it moves a little bit, but it's also, it stops, so then it doesn't move any further. The other little bearing is like 100% shot. Now I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to put that on the side. Grab your little sharp object that you've got, or flat screwdriver. You can use a flat screwdriver, but you don't want to damage this little seal here. If you damage it on the inside, it's got a small little metal plate on the inside, and that gets a dent. Then it's going to run against your bearings, and it's going to be not as smooth as it can be. Now if you guys look at your bearing, I won't be able to focus on it, but if you look at the bearing on the inside there, or on the outside right there, it's a small little indent or softer part of this little seal that you've got on here. Now you can push your little screwdriver or whatever you've got in there, just pick it up, and then you can remove the seal. So just make sure, you can see there's the little metal part I'm talking about. Just make sure you don't bend that, and then we're going to move on to cleaning our bearing just now. Alright, now one of the best things that you can have something like this is an old Mr. Min cap. Now I've got some multi in there already. I literally just took this and I sprayed it in there. It's a bit of a waste, and you do waste a bit of it, but I mean it works for me. If you've got a nice heavy degreaser, you can use that. I'm just going to remove the other side of this cap real quick. Do this. That's off. Doesn't really matter which one you're going to put on which side, as long as you don't bend them. I'm going to drop this. This is the one that's completely shot, so I really hope we can make this work. I'm going to drop it into my little multi degreasing agent, or what are you using, your degreaser, and I hope it's going to loosen it up a little bit. If it doesn't loosen it up a little bit, I'm going to try a strong degreaser that I've got, and hopefully that'll just clean it up nicely. So yeah, guys, clean your bearings real quick with your degreaser or the product that you're going to use. Then we'll move on to the rust off and see if we can remove the rust enough to be able to get this bearing going again. Alright, so I've actually been heating this thing, not hard, just on the surface, on its face, on the surface of the table a bit, just to get some of that grime out. And you guys can see that's what's coming out of my bearing. And my bearings look super clean, and my bike's always clean. And I mean that's something that sits inside your bearing, and it's actually so bad for me, and I've neglected this. I feel kind of bad. I mean, this bike doesn't even have about 400 kilometers on it, so this bearing should actually still be fine. I've spread it a bit, and I'm starting to get a little bit of movement on the bearing, and I'm just going to continue working it, cleaning it, and it should come loose. I've got my rust off that I'm going to spray onto this right now, and hopefully that makes it work again. If not, then at least we've got the new bearings. But this is the way we're going to do it, and we're going to get it nice and clean. And then the cool thing is how I insert the grease into this whole thing, but I'll show you guys that just now. Alright guys, so it's been a hot second since I last filmed. I was actually quite busy with this bearing. As you guys can see, it's turning, but it's super rough. Now I'm not sure how a brand new bearing feels with no grease or anything, and if it's also going to have a bit of a, I'm going to also maybe like grinding sound towards it because it's metal on metal. I'm not sure, but this one, it is spinning, but it's not super smooth. Now the reason why I say something like this has got a lifetime or a short lifetime when you've serviced it is that, I'm not sure you guys will be able to see this, but on this little, I'm going to call it the cap that's around the bearings, you can actually see some rust there. Now I've taken it off, but there's already, I'm going to call it corrosion or damage on this thing. Let's say pitting, that's what they call it, pitting on this. In other words, the rust ate away some of the metal, and now there's small little holes that are left there, and you call that pitting. Now the reason this happens is obviously moist and some muck and grime that got in there and then charred it a bit, and that sits on the bearing itself as well. Now I had to at a point hold the inside of this bearing and push as hard as I can to be able to start this, to get this to start moving again, and luckily I got it moving. Now what we're going to do now is, alrighty guys, I know this is not the super coolest of videos and I do apologize, but at least if there's one of you that needs to see this, then you can apply it or use it. Anyway, why I said you need the hairdryer or the heat gun, when we apply grease to this bearing, we can't get it to go all the way into the bearing. Yes, we can turn the bearing and we hope that it catches onto the bearing a bit, or the ball bearing on the inside, and then it will lubricate it, but it doesn't always do that. Now what I do is I put a lot of grease on both sides. You take the heat gun a bit, heat it up till you can see the grease just starts melting. Now with Vaseline, which, like I said, it's not the best thing, but you can use it if you don't have anything else. It will melt a lot quicker. It will melt a bit, then you can take a bearing, you can spin it a bit just to loop that bearing again. And then what I usually do is I just put it into the freezer for a bit, so you know that grease on, I'm going to call it cylindrify again, it will go hard. And then you've greased your bearing properly. Then you can clean these two little seals, put them back in, and then you've got a short little time that you can ride these bearings again. I can almost promise you, if this bearing will get wet again or it will stand for a day or 2 or 3, then you're going to have the same problem. But if you need it for a day or 2, you can always use it while you're waiting for your new bearings. So guys, that's just basically how to service your sealed bearings. Like I said, they do have a lifetime or a short lifetime after you've serviced them. You'll have to replace them, but this will just keep you going a little bit longer. And yeah guys, so sorry today's video is not one of the most informative or fun videos, but like I told you guys, not all of them can be fun, but at least this is something that you can use. You can use it to service your bike when you're servicing it. I made a video on how to remove bearings. You use your big blind hole bearing puller and then the bearing press and all those things, so you guys can go check out that video. I know it's not in this one, but I just thought maybe it can be interesting to one of you guys who needs to service their bearings, and this is just a super easy way to do it. So I'm not going to do any motivation today. I hope you guys enjoy your day, be strong, stay safe, and have a festive season. It's almost Christmas and we're almost done with Vlogmas, which I'm thankful for because it's super hard to do one every day. But then I'll see you guys in Vlogmas episode number 19 tomorrow. Cheers.